The entertainment world has been set ablaze, and fans are struggling to wrap their heads around it. T.I., the self-proclaimed king of the South, has just dropped a bombshell that no one saw coming. After years of standing by his son through headlines, controversies, and even public backlash, the rapper has reportedly cut all ties. Yes, you heard that right, cut ties with his own flesh and blood. Why? Shocking photos have surfaced and they've sent shockwaves across the internet. These images, said to expose a side of his son that no one imagined, have left the Harris family fractured, with emotions running high and whispers of betrayal echoing across social media. Friends close to the family claim this is the final straw, while insiders insist that what's happening behind closed doors is even more explosive than what we're seeing online. What could possibly be in those pictures that would push T.I. to take such a drastic step? Was this a moment of tough love, or the unraveling of a father-son bond that fans once thought was unbreakable? Stay tuned, because what we're about to unpack is nothing short of pure reality. TV drama spilling into real life. The story begins on what seemed like a regular afternoon. But in the world of celebrity families, nothing ever stays calm for too long. Fans scrolling through their feeds suddenly froze in disbelief when shocking photos of T.I.'s son surfaced online. The pictures, blurry yet undeniably telling, spread like wildfire, igniting an online frenzy. Whispers turned into loud conversations, and soon, everyone was asking the same question. What did these photos reveal that could push a father to cut off his own child? Close insiders claim the images showed the young Harris heir in situations that many described as reckless, dangerous, and downright scandalous. From late-night parties that looked more like underground chaos than harmless fun, to suspicious companies surrounding him, the narrative quickly spiraled out of control. Social media did what it always does, magnified every detail, every gesture, every angle of those images. Some fans defended him, saying he was just young and making mistakes, while others were quick to label him a lost cause. But behind all the noise, one voice was the loudest. And that was his father, T.I., who, according to reports, had finally reached his breaking point. Behind closed doors, tensions had been building for months. Sources close to the family revealed that arguments between father and son had escalated recently, with shouting matches that could be heard throughout the Harris mansion. "You're tarnishing the family name," T.I. allegedly yelled during one heated exchange, his voice echoing through the marble hallways. "I worked too hard for us to be dragged down by these choices," his son, defiant and emotional, fired back. "You don't understand me. You just want me to be you, but I'm not." The emotional clash between father and son left the household divided. Tiny, the matriarch of the family, tried desperately to calm the storm, urging both sides to find common ground. "He's your son," she pleaded, her voice cracking under the weight of her own emotions. "Don't let the world come between y'all. This family has survived worse. We can survive this too." But her words, though heartfelt, seemed to fall on deaf ears as pride and hurt consumed the two men at the center of the drama. As the photos continued to circulate, the public's reaction intensified. Bloggers and gossip sites churned out headline after headline, each one more sensational than the last. Fans took to Twitter, some expressing heartbreak at the sight of a father distancing himself from his own blood. Others applauding T.I. for taking a tough love stance. "Sometimes you have to let them hit rock bottom before they learn," one fan wrote. Another countered, "He's just a kid. How could a father abandon him like this?" The debate raged online, adding more fuel to the fire already blazing inside the Harris household. Friends of the family stepped forward, each one with their own take on the unfolding drama. A longtime associate of T.I. told reporters Tip's been patient for years. But these photos embarrassed him in a way that he couldn't ignore. It's not just about being a dad, it's about protecting his legacy. Yet another voice. Someone said to be close to his son painted a different picture. He's just looking for love and acceptance. The more his father pushes him away, the more reckless he gets. This is a cry for help, not rebellion. The tension reached a boiling point during a family gathering meant to address the situation. What was supposed to be a peaceful intervention quickly turned into a battlefield. T.I. sat at the head of the table, his jaw tight, his hands clasped as though holding back years of frustration. His son, leaning back in his chair with a mix of defiance and vulnerability, met his father's glare without flinching. The room was silent until T.I. broke it with a voice heavy with both anger and disappointment. "Those photos made me look at you differently. I can't protect you if you won't protect yourself." His son, eyes welling up but still refusing to back down, whispered, "I never asked you to protect me." The words cut deep, slicing through the father-son bond like a knife. Tiny, unable to hold back her tears, slammed her hands on the table. "Stop it, both of you. This isn't who we are." But the damage was already done. Family members shifted uncomfortably in their seats, torn between loyalty to T.I. and compassion for his son. The air was thick with tension, the kind you could almost taste, as if every breath carried the weight of unsaid words and unresolved pain. Outside the Harris mansion, paparazzi camped out, eager to capture even the slightest sign of chaos. Cameras flashed as cars came and went, and every visitor was scrutinized for their role in the unfolding saga. Fans were glued to their screens, dissecting every rumor, every alleged statement, every single update. The world wasn't just watching NEAT, was participating, choosing sides in a family battle that had now become a public spectacle. Then came the twist no one expected. A new batch of photos leaked, even more damaging than the first. This time the images suggested not just recklessness, but betrayal. Whispers spread that these photos revealed the son in the company of people who had once been T.I.'s rivals. Men the rapper had spent years warning his children to stay away from. The betrayal wasn't just personal, it was public. And it stung in ways that words couldn't describe. After that, it was over, an insider confessed. Tip looked at those photos and decided enough was enough. He told his son, "You're on your own now. I can't walk this path with you." Those close to the situation claimed the words weren't just heat-of-the-moment anger, but a decision T.I. fully intended to stand by. The announcement sent shockwaves through the household. Tiny broke down in tears, begging her husband to reconsider. "He's still your son," she cried, clutching his arm as though her touch could change his heart. But T.I. stood firm, his eyes cold, his resolve unshakable. "I gave him chance after chance," he muttered. "This time, he's got to learn the hard way." Friends described the scene as one of the most heartbreaking moments they had ever witnessed. The son stormed out of the house, slamming the door so hard it rattled the windows. Tiny chased after him, but he was gone before she could reach the driveway. The silence that followed inside the mansion was deafening, broken only by the quiet sobs of a mother watching her family fracture before her eyes. As news of the disownment leaked, fans were left in disbelief. Some praised T.I.'s tough stance, others condemned it as cruel and heartless. How can a man who preaches family values turn his back on his own child? One comment read. Yet another argued, sometimes love means letting go. Maybe this will be the wake-up call he needs. And just when it seemed the story had reached its peak, new rumors began to swirl, rumors suggesting that the shocking photos were not as straightforward as they seemed, and that the truth behind them might be far more complicated than anyone imagined. The whispers of a deeper truth quickly took hold of the narrative, turning what was already explosive into something even more unpredictable. Fans who had been quick to judge suddenly found themselves second-guessing. Could the photos that shattered this father-son bond have been manipulated? Insiders close to the industry began hinting that powerful figures might have had motives to plant these damaging images. This ain't just about a boy making mistakes, one anonymous source hinted. There are people out there who would love nothing more than to see Tip's empire crumble. And what better way than to strike at his bloodline? The speculation opened the door to conspiracy theories. Blogs lit up with claims that rivals from T.I.'s past, he had clashed with over music, money, and power, could have orchestrated the leak. Fans dissected every shadow in the photos, every blurry face in the background, asking whether these images were genuine or staged. Some even suggested Photoshop had played a role, pointing to strange distortions and inconsistencies. The possibility that his son had been framed changed the conversation entirely inside the Harris household. However, the damage was already done. His son, now feeling not only abandoned but also misunderstood, refused to return home. "You didn't even ask me," he said in a late-night phone call that Tiny overheard. His voice was raw, trembling with both rage and sorrow. "You just believed them. You believe strangers over your own son." T.I. hardened. T.I. hardened. By years of public betrayal, responded with icy calm. "Pictures don't lie. Actions don't lie. I can't fight your battles for you, Tiny." Caught between her husband and her child, was drowning in emotional turmoil. She spent sleepless nights trying to mend the fracture, reaching out to her son, begging him to come home, while simultaneously urging her husband to reconsider. "If those photos aren't real and you turned your back, you'll regret it forever," she warned Tip. But he wouldn't budge. His pride was stronger than his doubt, and his belief in the evidence outweighed any hope of reconciliation. Meanwhile, the outside world continued to add pressure. Fans demanded answers, some flooding comment sections with harsh accusations. "You failed him," one wrote. "A father doesn't walk away." Others saw Tip as a hero, a man refusing to enable destructive behavior. "He's teaching tough lessons no one else will," another fan declared. The polarization grew so sharp that even friends of the family began taking sides, close friend and collaborator. Killer Mike was said to have offered advice privately, telling Tip, "Don't let the internet dictate how you raise your boy. You know him better than any headline." But another associate reportedly told him, "If you don't put your foot down now, you'll lose all respect, not just as a father, but as a man." The conflicting counsel only deepened Tip's internal conflict, though outwardly he remained stoic, refusing to show cracks in his armor. Then came the shocking twist that no one had anticipated. The son, fed up with being painted as a villain, decided to speak out for himself. In an Instagram Live that drew tens of thousands of viewers, he addressed the controversy head-on. "Those pictures don't tell the whole story," he said, his voice trembling but firm. "Y'all don't know what's really going on. My own dad didn't even ask me before he threw me away. Imagine what that feels like." His words cut deep, and the comments exploded. Some showered him with love and support, while others criticized him for airing family business publicly. But the most jaw-dropping moment came near the end of the live stream, when he hinted that the photos had been leaked by someone shockingly close to the family. "They came from someone who's supposed to protect me," he said cryptically, refusing to name names but leaving fans gasping. Speculation immediately ran wild. Was he accusing a cousin? A friend? Even his stepmother? The ambiguity only fanned the flames, creating a media circus unlike anything the Harris family had seen before. Inside the mansion, Tiny broke down in tears once again, pleading with Tip to listen. "He's crying out for you," she whispered late one night as they sat in their dimly lit living room. "Don't you hear it? Don't you see how much pain he's in?" But Tip's response was cold, his eyes fixed on the flickering TV screen. "He went live to the world instead of coming to me. That says everything I need to know." Friends described the tension in the household as unbearable. Meals were eaten in silence, doors were slammed, and the once close-knit family unit now felt like strangers under the same roof. The younger siblings were caught in the middle, confused by the bitterness between their father and brother. One night, according to insiders, one of the younger kids asked, "Why don't you love him anymore, Daddy?" The question pierced the silence, leaving Tip visibly shaken. Though he refused to answer, the emotional stakes only grew higher when a third set of photos leaked, this time showing the son in what appeared to be a heated argument with someone shockingly familiar. Fans zoomed in, studied every pixel, and soon came to a conclusion that sent the internet into chaos. The man in the background looked eerily similar to one of T.I.'s oldest friends. Was this the betrayal his son had hinted at during the Instagram Live? Had someone from within the inner circle turned against them? The revelation caused a split reaction online. Some fans believed to confirm the theory that his son was being set up, while others argued it showed the boy was too entangled in dangerous company to be saved. "It's not about a setup," one critic tweeted. "It's about the choices he makes every single day." The media frenzy grew louder by the hour. Then the Harris family could no longer escape the storm. Every outing was photographed, every expression analyzed. Tiny was seen leaving a church in tears, sparking rumors that she was seeking spiritual guidance for her crumbling family. Tip was spotted at a recording studio, his face grim, headphones clamped over his ears. Perhaps using music as an escape from the chaos? The son, meanwhile, was seen with new friends, a crowd of people who looked nothing like the family-friendly image the Harris name had once represented. But behind all the headlines, there was a secret being whispered that could change everything. Sources close to the son claimed he had evidence real, undeniable evidence that the photos were doctored and that someone close to his father had a hand in leaking them. "He's sitting on proof," one insider claimed. "And when he drops it, the whole world is going to see that he was betrayed not by strangers, but by people his father trusted." This revelation left fans on edge, waiting for the bombshell that could either vindicate him or drag the family even deeper into chaos. Tiny begged him not to go public, warning that exposing the truth could permanently fracture the family. "Once you do this, there's no coming back," she pleaded. But he was determined. "If my own dad won't believe me, then the world needs to see the truth." As tensions reached a fever pitch, the family was left divided, emotions raw, and the world eagerly waiting for the next twist. The stage was set for a revelation that could either mend the broken bond or destroy it forever. The revelation of supposed proof turned the drama into something almost cinematic. Fans who had been glued to their screens since the first leak now sat at the edge of their seats, refreshing timelines, desperate to see what the son would unveil. Would he really expose someone from within the Harris circle? Or was this just another emotional outburst fueled by pain and betrayal? Whispers across social media suggested that what he held could rewrite the entire narrative. And the anticipation built like thunder before a storm. Inside the mansion, T.I. remained unmoved. "He's bluffing," he told Tiny one night, his voice low and dismissive. If he had proof, he would have shown it already. But deep down, even he couldn't ignore the knot of unease tightening in his stomach. What if his son was telling the truth? What if he had believed a lie and cut off his child over fabricated evidence? The thought haunted him, though he would never admit it aloud. The breaking point came one evening when the son announced on his Instagram story that he would be going live with receipts. The announcement sent shockwaves across the internet. Fans prepared popcorn, gossip bloggers scheduled streams, and even mainstream media teased coverage of what they called the family showdown of the year. When the live stream began, tens of thousands tuned in instantly. The young Harris appeared on screen with a mix of defiance and heartbreak written across his face. "Y'all been dragging me for weeks," he began, "and my own family turned on me without even giving me a chance to explain. But tonight, I'm setting the record straight." He then held up what looked like screenshots of text messages and emails, conversations that allegedly proved someone close to his father had leaked the photos intentionally. The most shocking part wasn't just the content hit, was the identity he revealed. The texts appeared to come from someone fans recognized as a longtime family friend, a man who had been in and out of the Harris household for years, almost like an uncle figure. "He did this," the son declared, his voice shaking. "He sold those pictures to the blogs to get back at my dad. And instead of questioning it, my dad believed him over me." The internet exploded. Fans were stunned. Hashtags began trending, and within minutes, the so-called family friend was bombarded with messages, accusations, and threats. Bloggers replayed the live stream endlessly, analyzing every detail, debating whether the screenshots were authentic or fabricated. The Harris household, once again, was thrown into chaos. Tani was devastated. She confronted her husband, tears streaming down her face. "You see now? He wasn't lying. He was begging for you to believe in him." But T.I., stubborn as ever, wasn't ready to admit defeat. Screenshots can be faked, he argued. Anybody can make it look real. I can't let my judgment be swayed by an Instagram live. But privately, he was shaken. The so-called family friend's silence in the aftermath only deepened the suspicion. Instead of denying the allegations, the man vanished from social media entirely, his accounts deactivated overnight. For fans, this disappearance was as good as a confession. The Sun, emboldened by the public's support, doubled down. I don't care if he believes me anymore, he told viewers in a follow-up post. The truth is out there now, and people know I was set up. This declaration ignited a tidal wave of sympathy, with fans flooding his comments with messages of love and encouragement. You're stronger than this, one fan wrote. Prove them all wrong, another said. Your dad owes you an apology in front of the whole world. The pressure on T.I. mounted. Journalists began asking pointed questions. Interviewers tried to bait him into addressing the scandal. And even fellow celebrities dropped cryptic comments online. Some hinted that they had always suspected certain people in his circle were snakes, while others urged him to reconcile with his son before it was too late. Yet, despite the mounting evidence and growing public outcry, the rapper refused to budge. He put our business on the internet, he told a close confidant. He embarrassed this family even more. Whether he's right or wrong, there's a line you don't cross. And he crossed it. But the cracks in his resolve began to show when Tiny confronted him in front of the younger children. They're watching you, she said, her voice steady but filled with pain. They're learning from you. What are you teaching them? That family doesn't matter. That pride is more important than love. Her words cut through the tension like a blade, leaving Tip silent. His eyes clouded with emotions he fought desperately to hide. As the family wrestled with their private turmoil. The outside world continued to spin. Fans began organizing hashtags calling for reconciliation. And some even created petitions demanding that T.I. publicly apologize to his son. This is bigger than hip-hop, one fan wrote. This is about being a father, about standing by your child no matter what. The narrative shifted from scandal to redemption, and the world waited to see if the King of the South would swallow his pride. But just when it seemed like reconciliation might be on the horizon, another twist sent shockwaves across the internet. An anonymous source leaked a video clip to a gossip site. A video that appeared to show the son in a heated argument with the very same family friend he had accused. In the clip, the man could be heard saying, "You think you can play me? You think your daddy's gonna choose you over me?" Though the video was grainy and hard to fully verify, fans immediately pounced on it as proof that the betrayal was real. The revelation was damning. But it also reignited questions. If this friend really had betrayed the family, why had T.I. defended him so fiercely? Was the rapper blind to the truth? Or was there more to the story than anyone realized? Speculation spiraled. And suddenly fans weren't just questioning the son's innocence, they were questioning T.I.'s judgment. Tiny, fed up with the endless cycle of pride, betrayal, and silence, decided to take matters into her own hands. According to insiders, she arranged a private meeting between father and son without telling either of them in advance. One evening, she invited her husband to what he thought was a quiet dinner, only to have their son walk into the room moments later. The atmosphere was electric, the air thick with years of anger and unresolved pain. "You tricked me," Tip muttered, glaring at Tiny. But before he could storm out, his son spoke. "I don't care how I got here," he said softly. "I just want you to hear me for once." The words hung in the air, raw and desperate. As Tiny silently prayed for a breakthrough, the conversation that followed was one of the most intense exchanges the family had ever endured. The son laid out his pain, his sense of betrayal, his longing for approval. "All I ever wanted was for you to see me, not just what I do wrong," he confessed. "I made mistakes, yeah, but I'm not what those pictures said I am." I listened quietly, his face unreadable while Tiny held her breath. waiting for his response. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, T.I spoke. "You don't understand what it's like to build something from nothing," he said, his voice heavy. "Every move you make reflects on me, on us, on this family. When those pictures came out, I saw everything I worked for being mocked, being destroyed. I couldn't separate my pride from my love for you. It wasn't an apology, but it was a crack in the wall." For the first time, Tip admitted his own weakness, his own pride. The son, though still hurt, nodded slowly. "At least now you're being real with me," he said. "That's all I ever wanted." The breakthrough was small, fragile, but it was enough to keep the conversation alive. Tiny watched with relief as the two men, for the first time in weeks, spoke without shouting. But the wounds were still deep. And the road to healing was far from over. And just as the family began inching towards some form of understanding, another revelation surfaced that threatened to undo all progress. The alleged betrayal wasn't just about leaking photos. It was about money, secrets, and a level of deception that no one in the Harris family could have imagined. The whispers about money turned the drama into something even darker. A twist that made fans realize this story wasn't just about pride, betrayal, or even family. This was about power and survival. Rumors spread that the family friend accused of leaking the photos wasn't acting out of spite alone, but because of money owed, debts unpaid, and a tangled web of deals gone wrong. Bloggers began connecting dots, pulling up old interviews, resurfacing forgotten posts, piecing together a narrative that suggested this so-called friend had been exploiting the Harris name for years. Insiders revealed that large sums of money had quietly disappeared from accounts tied to side ventures Tip had trusted his inner circle to manage. He didn't notice it at first, one source claimed, but once the pictures leaked and the accusations started, people began digging, and that's when the truth about the money started coming out. Suddenly, it wasn't just about scandalous photos. It was about betrayal on a financial scale that cut deeper than anyone realized. Fans couldn't believe it. "This is straight out of a movie," one comment read. "First the pictures, now money. This family can't catch a break." Another wrote, "Tip needs to cut everyone off and start fresh. Even family can stab you in the back." Inside the mansion, the tension thickened. Tiny, torn between her loyalty to her husband and her aching desire to protect her son, confronted Tip again. "Can't you see? The same man you defended against your own child is the one stealing from you. How much more proof do you need?" Her voice shook with fury, the kind of fury only a mother pushed past her limits could unleash. Tip, weary and worn, slammed his fist on the table. "You think I don't see it now? You think I don't know? I've been played. But he didn't just play me, he played my son too, and I let it happen." For the first time, the rapper's voice cracked, the weight of his mistakes crashing down on him. His pride had blinded him, and in his attempt to protect his legacy, he had nearly destroyed his relationship with his son. The son, meanwhile, wasn't ready to forgive. Though vindicated by the revelations, he carried deep scars from weeks of public humiliation and abandonment. "You chose him over me," he said in a private meeting, his voice low but filled with pain. "You believed a stranger over your own blood. I can't forget that." Their conversation spiraled into another heated exchange. "I didn't choose him," Tip argued. "I chose what I thought was the truth. I thought I was protecting us." But his son shot back, "You weren't protecting us. You were protecting your pride. And you broke me in the process." Fans followed every development like it was a reality show, dissecting the smallest hints from Instagram stories, tweets, or paparazzi photos. One viral thread argued that the Harris family drama symbolized a generational clash: an old-school father who valued reputation above all else, versus a younger son who demanded authenticity and unconditional love. "This isn't just a family fight," the thread concluded. "It's about the past colliding with the present." As the scandal reached its boiling point, the so-called family friend finally resurfaced, but not with an apology. Instead, he gave a shocking interview to a gossip podcast, denying everything and accusing the Harris son of fabricating the screenshots. "That boy's been lying from the start," he sneered. He set me up to look like the villain because he couldn't face the truth about himself. The interview lit another fire under the drama. Fans were divided again, unsure whom to believe. Some clung to the screenshots and the video clip as undeniable proof, while others argued that without official confirmation, the truth remained murky. We're watching a family tear itself apart in real time. One fan lamented. Tiny, exhausted and desperate, pushed for reconciliation in any way she could. She suggested family therapy, private retreats, even leaving town to escape the spotlight. "This can't keep going," she told Tip late one night, her voice breaking. "We're losing him. And we're losing ourselves." The breaking point came during yet another family confrontation, one that insiders described as the most explosive yet. Tip and his son faced each other once more, this time with no cameras, no outsiders, just raw emotion. "You want me to admit I was wrong?" Tip demanded. "Fine, I was wrong. I let lies get between us. I let my pride make me blind. But you turned to the internet instead of turning to me. You turned to the internet instead of turning to me." His son, stunned by the rare admission, stood silent for a moment before whispering, "I turned to the internet because I didn't have you." The words echoed in the room, sinking into every corner of the house, heavy with pain and truth. Tears streamed down Tiny's face as she watched the two men, finally stripped of all bravado, confront the heart of their fracture. It wasn't about photos, money, or outsiders. It was about years of miscommunication, expectations, and unspoken wounds. The confrontation ended not with hugs or forgiveness, but with silence, a silence that suggested healing was possible, but only with time. Tip, for the first time in weeks, reached out and placed a hand on his son's shoulder. It wasn't much, but it was something. A small gesture that fans would later cling to when rumors of reconciliation began to spread. Outside, the world continued to buzz. Paparazzi captured photos of father and son leaving the same building, sparking speculation that they were finally working things out. Gossip blogs spun the images into dramatic headlines, while fans debated whether the bond could ever truly be repaired. "Blood is blood," one fan wrote. "They'll find their way back." Another countered, "Some scars don't heal. They might never be the same." As the dust began to settle, one thing became clear. This scandal had left the Harris family forever changed. Secrets had been exposed, trust had been shattered, and pride had nearly destroyed everything. Yet in the wreckage, there was a glimmer of hope, a fragile possibility that love could still overcome betrayal. The final twist came quietly, almost without fanfare. Weeks after the storm, the son posted a photo of himself sitting beside his father, neither smiling, neither speaking, but side by side. The caption read simply, "Family." The post sent shockwaves through the internet, fans flooding the comments with relief, joy, and speculation. "They're working on it," one fan celebrated. "The healing begins." But behind this simple image lay unresolved questions. Had the money truly been recovered? Had the family friend truly been cut off? Had father and son truly forgiven each other? Or were they simply putting on a united front for the world? The answers remained unclear, shrouded in the same mystery that had fueled the entire saga from the beginning. What was undeniable, though, was that the drama had cemented itself as one of the most unforgettable scandals in hip-hop family history, a saga of betrayal. Pride, pain, and the fragile bonds that hold families together. And as fans watched, waiting for the next update, one thing was certain: the story of T.I. and his son was far from over. And so, after weeks of chaos, heartbreak, and revelations that felt stranger than fiction, the Harris family stands at a crossroads. A father and son once torn apart by scandalous photos, accusations, and betrayals have now inched closer. Though their wounds remain raw and visible, fans are still divided. Some believe the photo with the caption "family" is proof that love has finally won, while others suspect it's just a carefully staged attempt to quiet the storm. The truth: we may never fully know. What we do know is that emotions ran high. Pride nearly destroyed a legacy, and the world watched as private pain became public spectacle. This saga has left fans asking questions that linger like echoes in an empty room. Will the trust between father and son ever truly be restored? Will the shadow of the family friend's betrayal continue to haunt them? And most importantly, has this painful chapter taught them that blood, no matter how strained, is still thicker than the noise of the world? Now, it's your turn to weigh in. Do you believe T.I. made the right choice in cutting his son off when the photos first surfaced? Or do you think his pride blinded him to the truth? Do you feel his son was justified in taking his pain to social media? Or should family drama stay behind closed doors? And what about the so-called family friend? Was he the real villain all along? Oh? Or is there still more to the story that hasn't come out yet? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because we want to hear from you. Don't forget to hit that like button if you were shocked by this drama, subscribe for more jaw-dropping stories like this one, and ring that bell so you never miss the next twist in the saga. Trust me, with a family like this, the drama is far from over.